gotta make a move quick.
Okay, what I'm going to do now is show you how to bench press and go through all the intricacies of bench pressing. So Tilly's going to demonstrate. What she's going to do first is she's going to use the rings on the bar to identify her grip. So she's found her grip there. For her, she likes to use little finger on that ring there. What she's going to do now is she's going to pull herself into the bench. Here she's digging her traps into the bench as much as possible. From this position now, she's going to pull her feet back as tight as possible as she can. So a major thing that I see people do wrong in bench press is they're too loose here. If I can move you here, you're not in the perfect bench press setup. So really good, she's pulled her feet back as far as possible as she can. As you can see, she's opted for a heels up approach. Different feds have different rules, but if you have your heels up, you get a better arch. If you have your heels down, you have more stability. So she's opted for that. So she digged herself into the bench there. Her hips are open because she's pushing her knees out, so her glutes are now engaged. Even though her heels are up, she's still actively driving pressure through her heels. She's here in this position now and she's pulling her scaps back together. So her scapula is now pulled together and now she's going to push that towards her hips, which she's doing there. She's putting pressure on this rack and she's gripping the bar as hard as possible. From this position now, she's going to unwrap that bar and she's going to hover that over her start position. So the next point she's going to do, she's going to pull this bar into her chest, and as she's doing, she's raising her chest as high as possible. And then from there, she's in this position, and as you can see, her elbow is in a stacked position with her wrist, and also her shoulder is stacked with her elbow. So she's in a really strong position there, and from here now, she's going to throw that bar up. That's it. Just go for that again, Tilly. So she's pulling that. As she's pulling, she's bringing her chest up, and she's exploding and throwing that bar. Good. So what we're aiming for in this position is to throw that bar and then catch it with our triceps. So when there's a lot of weight in that bar, it's going to move like this. A throw, catch. Throw, catch. So we're throwing it off our chest and then catching it with the triceps, which is really good there. So just wrap that bar. Okay, so what we're looking for is our shoulder blades are normal there. What I'm aiming to do is pinch them back together and then I'm pushing them down into my hips. So together, down, together, down. So as I do that, my chest is lifting up and I'm pulling that bar into my chest and then exploding. So it's that position. So the upper back is super important. So from the side, that looks like this. So shoulder blade back and then shoulder blades down to hips. And as you can see, this is creating a natural arch. My chest is rising to that bar, and as I pull that bar into me, I can then catapult it off my chest. So we want shoulders back as much as possible. Okay, so now we're going to go through common mistakes with the bench press. So the number one mistake that I see is people are just too loose. So just lie down on the bench and just unwrap the bar. So as you can see here, her legs are just completely loose, there's no tension. The back is completely flat on that pad and the shoulders are completely forward. So just bench press that there. So there's no stability anywhere. As you can see, shoulders are right low. Yeah, so you can't create any power with our stability. So we need to make sure we're tight all the way from the feet all the way up to the fingertips through the methods that I've just shown. Another common mistake that I find is people's bum coming off the bench. So get yourself in your setup, Tilly. So she's going to bring the bar down to her chest, and as she presses it, the bum's going to come off. Obviously in powerlifting, that would be a fail. So the problem is, when the bum comes off the bench, is your hips and your glutes aren't engaged. So what you need to do is actively push your hips open, so in this locked position. As you can see now, her glutes are fully engaged, so she's getting that leg drive, but without the hips cannot physically come up because they're locked in the socket. So if you're getting your bum coming off the bench in competitions because your knees aren't externally rotated. Another problem, common mistake that I find is joints are not stacked and the wrong touching point. So till if you go all the way through close grip position, so unwrap that bar now. So now she's got a close grip position. To have that stacked, them stacked joints, she's gonna have to touch lower now. So just show us your touch. So even her elbow joint, her wrist joint and her elbow joint are not stacked anymore. So to make them stacked, she would have to tuck more there and then touch lower there. So now we're in that stacked position. So your grip width and your leverages determine where your touch point is. So it isn't just a case of one size fits all. So now if she goes completely to her max width grip, her touch point now is going to be a lot higher, more around the chest line. So you can see now that these elbows are as stacked as possible. So what I see done kind of wrong is just stay in that position there and then overly tuck. Yeah. Obviously there's no strength in this position here. As you can see, that elbow is nowhere near the wrist. So the thing that I like to think about is you wouldn't build a table with legs like that because it wouldn't hold any weight. You need them legs to be directly held under the weight. So if you're bench pressing and you're overly tucking like that, you're doing yourself a disservice. You need those elbows under the wrist. So you've got to work with a coach to outline where your grip position should be. Another common mistake I see is when that bar touches the chest, losing all tightness here and they're collapsing. So they're losing that arch and then the shoulders are out of position. So we've got to make sure we're keeping them shoulder blades pinched and that chest height like she is there. So that's what we need to do. We need to keep that chest nice and proud. Just show us again what it looks like if you lose that tightness. Yeah. And then what happens is the elbows kick out, the shoulders kick out. You end up in that chicken wing position where there's no strength. Yeah, right that. So that's bench press.